on YouTube. Trying to see what the best angle for this camera is going to be, but we'll try this for now. I have it in a suction cup mount, and I have a microphone here, so hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know if you can tell by the windows, but it's a little bit of a heavy fog here right now in the Bay Area, and I'm just taking the car for a drive this morning. It's about 9 a.m. Yeah, I like this, that, you know, I'm not on a bike, because sometimes when I ride here at the specific road, I ride here all the time on my motorcycle, and, you know, this is our twisties, right? I'm about to go to it, and I'm always wet by the time I get there because of all these heavy mists. It's rarely very sunny in this area now. For some reason, it's always this weird fog because of, I don't know, the weather's been weird lately in the Bay Area. It's supposed to be really sunny today too, but anyway, the point of this video today is I just wanted to talk about my buying experience of this car. So I've seen like a lot of videos of people buying their dream car, you know, how they made it a whole life event. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for me. It was a journey to get this car here and the way it is now. But I want to start with me as a child. So growing up, for the first thing I could remember is what a sports car looks like is, of course, a Ferrari. Typical, you know, boy, kid that's into cars and stuff like that. Because the first time I ever saw a sports car is because my uncle sells cars, and he bought a Ferrari 355 GTS 6-speed back in 1997, brand new. He bought it brand new. So red over tan, cliche Ferrari, you know. So he got that. And I grew up basically around it when I was 97 all the way to, I think I was 8 or 10 or something like that. I already forgot. So maybe 8, maybe 7. So I always knew that that's like the car, you know, that's like the holy grail car. I never knew until I was like 12 how expensive that car was. And at the time when I was 12, it was like 100-something thousand used or something like that for a 6-speed, and like a little bit cheaper for an F1. And he told me never get the F1. Unfortunately, I have an F1 now, but because I can't afford the 6-speed. So an F430 6-speed is very rare too, so you gotta pay like a 200-something thousand for it. So anyway, so he, you know, I've always been around it. I sat in it, you know, and all that, but I never drove it because I'm scared to drive it. I'm scared to drive other people's cars. I'm scared to drive other people's I'm scared to ride other people's bikes. It's just how I am. I don't like touching other people's things, really, because I'm kind of OCD like that. What if I, you know, because I don't like people touching my stuff like randomly without my permission. But I don't know, I guess I just grew up kind of like, I don't want to put myself in positions where I break stuff. So anyway, I've always dreamed about getting one. I never thought I would actually get one like this soon. I thought I would be like 50 or something, because the prices was just, you never think that a price of a Ferrari would be like in an attainable range. So let me tell you right now the price of this car. I got this car at $66,000. So I bought an F430 for the price of an M3. So, but you already saw my previous video about there's no such thing as cheap Ferraris. So that is that. So add the $66,000 and add that, and that's pretty much the total cost of this car. But before I go in a segue completely, I just want to say that my mechanic was a one-off type that you don't always get that kind of pricing. You guys could probably get a better price if you're friends with the mechanic. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not too cheap, I'm not too expensive either. I'm on the cheaper side. So let's just get that out of the bat right there. I lucked out in finding my mechanic. They're very fair on their pricing. They work really slow, but they are very precise, and their attention to detail is second to none. Like, they actually looked at my car and discussed with me the things that needed fixing before fixing the things that don't really matter. Because I pointed things to them that don't really matter at the time, and now, like, that makes sense. Okay, the good thing they talked me out of it. So anyway, so yeah, growing up, I've been watching these cars, the prices. The 355 is what I was after originally, but unfortunately, I don't want to say that I regret that I didn't get it, but like, this is what the universe provided, so I'm happy with that. The F430 was definitely not in my radar at all. It was in $120,000 range, 110, 109. It was getting down in price this year. I've seen them as low as 92,000 at 30,000 miles or something like that in my area, F1. But it never had the options that my car has now. It never had the challenge wheels, or it never had the Daytona seats. It never had this color combination. It never had the challenge wheels, the Scuderia shields. So it was missing one of those things. But this car, this $66,000 car with all these issues, have everything. You see the leather in the back here, that's an option too. Some of them only have carpet back here where the cubby thing is. They only have carpets back there. But this one has full leather. That's like actually an expensive option for some reason. It's kind of stupid. No one really sees back there. No one sits back there. So, but it is an option nonetheless. So this car is a well-optioned car. It has the Scuderia shields and all that. If it doesn't have the Scuderia shields, actually, when I start looking at the other F430s now, they don't look right. Maybe it's just me, but being biased and stuff, but it just doesn't look right anymore, because you're supposed to have like the Ferrari shield back on the side there. It looks way better. So that's that. So I had my alerts in Auto Trader, Car Gurus, and all the other websites, you know, just for cars under $100,000. That's the GTRs, 911 turbos, F430s. I put that on the list. 355s for sure, 360s, and 911 turbos, GT3s, also under $100,000. So I have all those. You know, I keep getting alerts. I've been close to getting another since I sold my Porsche 4S. I've missed Porsche. I've been so close to. I was almost so close to getting a 911 turbo, which was being sold for $65,000. Okay, $65,000. I almost pulled the trigger. Something didn't feel right. It was in Florida. I just, for some reason, I backed out of it, so I didn't get it. So I was sad for a while. It had the ceramic brakes. Yeah, so black on black, and it had the ceramic brakes, yellow calipers. I love that 911 turbo. It's just that something didn't feel right, and then I was almost so close to buying a Ferrari 360. I saw a Ferrari 360 local here, which was being sold to me. He posted it for $65. So I was like, oh, damn, that's getting close. That's getting close right there. It's not, it was an F1, red over 10. It had the racing seats. That one didn't work out either. I got him down all the way to $53,000 because of all the things that I need to fix in the car. Something didn't feel right either. My wife didn't really like how it looked. The 360 looks a little soft. So the 355, as you know, is the best shape. I don't know, for me it's the best shaped Ferrari, best sounding. So it's like they went to the 360, it got a little rounder. You know, I mean, the Challenge Chadale 360, of course, that's not the same thing, but the regular 360, it's like it's a little bubbly shape. It's a little, you know. So she didn't like it. I was like, but this is a good deal. So I backed out. You know, I just backed out. You know, if there's a feeling in your gut that doesn't feel right, you kind of just listen to it. So I didn't. I listened to it. I didn't buy it. Some time goes by. So all of a sudden, I was at work. I get a notification. It says the F430 for $66,000 in Atlanta. I was like, what the hell's going on with this car? So I called the guy, and of course I'm not the first one that called him. It's like I'm like third in line or something like that. As soon as I called, and I just saw the alert. So everyone that looked into this car before me passed on it. So the previous two, where how many other guys passed on it? Even on VinWiki, I was the first one to add the data in VinWiki. So the car had problems. You know, as you already know, car had problems, issues, but they hit it so well with how the car looks outside. So the car looks amazing outside. Full PPF in the front end, the full front clip of the car. So you would think they never had an accident, but I checked the Carfax. It's fine. There's no accidents. So it's been taken care of in terms of the exterior, but interior wise, I mean, the mechanically wise, it wasn't taken care of. So as you know, it had issues. Fixed it all, but they were shady about it. The shop was shady about the mechanical issues. They didn't disclose, no PPI, but you know, I came in knowing already there's no such thing as a cheap Ferrari. So 66,000, it gives me a little headroom. It gave me a little headroom into things that I could spend to fix it. So I wasn't really too worried. 66,000, and I was expecting around $10,000 to $12,000 in repair. Worst case, because you have to replace the clutch, if anything. Everything is a couple $1,000s here and there. So after 6,000, maybe another two, and another two. I'll just say 10. You know, that's gonna be 76,000. It's not that bad for with all the options this car has. Went and flew to Atlanta on short notice. I booked my flight. It was very expensive. It cost me like $1,600, $1,700 for both me and my wife to fly there, hotel and stuff like that. So we flew there, looked at the car. The salesman was nice to us, but you know, he's trying to sell something. The car looked great. You know, I saw the bent wheel. I saw the bent wheel, and there's, you know, a little scrapes under the bumpers, but that's normal for a car that's been driven 50,000 miles. This car is 50,000 miles for an 06. But I didn't mind the miles so much because I want a car that's been driven regularly, or you know, not parked, because it's because of my intuition of that. When my mechanic looked at the car, everything was needed fixing but the engine. The engine was super healthy. So as I expected, you're supposed to drive these things. So I never like things that are parked, even though, you know, even if they're gonna be like, oh, 1,000 miles from like 06, that doesn't sound good to me. That's actually pretty scary. So I looked at the car, I drove it. I noticed the exhaust leak that's from the headers that was broken, and that was replaced now. As you can see, you don't hear any fluttering noise or ticking or whatever bouncing around in there. The motor mounts is also solid now. It's brand new. You can go through the list of what I replaced on my other video, my last video. The maintenance and stuff for the Ferrari F430, you can go through it and you can see why this car is running like it's like 2,000 miles or something like that. It's smooth. So I test drove the car, I looked at it, did all the paperwork over there, and I flew back. So, but ever since that, it's just so, like, all throughout the experience, it was so hard to, you know, communicate with my salesman. He's always like hard to reach on the phone. You know, I'm an out-of-state buyer. I have to coordinate with my bank and the car shipper. Just the whole experience wasn't like, it was really bad. So it was like a 1-star. So, you know, you get what you pay for in terms of car buying experience, maybe, and your customer service that you get. It's just how it is, you know. Maybe some people are just nice, even though they're selling a car for cheap, but they know they were selling this car for dirt cheap, and they don't have to do that much like customer service because they know like they're losing money on this already. Because I wonder how much they got this car in auction for. If they're selling it for 66,000, they know how much it is to fix what's wrong with the car. Because I spent 16.5. My price is not the my price wasn't in the high end. It's closer to the cheap end. So they probably got quoted super high amount of money to fix this car and get it right. To fix all the things that I fixed would probably cost them upwards of $20,000. And they probably added that, so they added the miles and the cost of fixing. They're probably looking at if they fixed it, they'll probably post this car for $82,000, and they just didn't want to bother with it. They just make the car look nice and, you know, sell it for 66. Let the buyer deal with it. You know, it's like kind of a, I can see the logic there. So they knew what they were doing. So of course they priced it as such. I get it, you know. Now that that's out there, now I have the full picture. You know, at the time I didn't have the full picture. I was feeling like I was taking a gamble, but it is what it is now. So there's no such thing as a cheap Ferrari. Just want to lay that out there. And if you guys are confident about your, or you know, you can fix it yourself, or you have somebody that knows how to fix these things for the cheap, not cheap, but like a price that you are comfortable with, you know. So if you have somebody like that, so you know, that's you're already winning right there, because you can buy any car that you want. If you see something that's cheap, then it's really going to be cheap. So I'm in this car for about 80 something thousand, I guess. 80 something thousand, and it's already in perfect condition. Everything was fixed already. Imagine if I bought this car at 82 and I still have to fix it. Imagine if I bought this car at 109 and I still have to fix it. You know, so I think I won with this car. Will I sell it? I don't know, because I already won with the car. I kind of just want to enjoy it. Basically, it's a Ferrari I bought for a price of an M3, you know. Car is stock, you can't really hear anything. It sounds good at about 4,000 RPMs, but I'm thinking about pulling that the exhaust valve so it's always loud. So I might do that. I don't really care about the noise. So, all right. I just wanted to take you guys through that whole journey. You know, it started as me as being a little kid, just admiring the F355. You just never know when opportunity will come by, and sometimes I didn't feel totally ready when this opportunity came by. I wasn't 100% ready because I just bought the Super Duke, you know, like a month before. Like crazy, man. Like spending all this money, and it's just that I couldn't pass this one up. Something felt wrong and right at the same time with this car, that I think I should just go for it, and I did. So it is a little uncomfortable, but sometimes risks are not sometimes, but every time risks are uncomfortable. You know, if you're taking a risk, if everything is comfortable, then it's just you're not risking anything. And basically everyone will see everyone will be able to steal whatever you're seeing, and you know, this is the opportunity. You're supposed to take it. You know, if you make the right judgment call, it's like basically playing your money in the stock. So I mean, it's you take what you know and you weigh up all the options. Does it make sense? And it made sense to me. It was uncomfortable, but you know, it is what it is, guys. So that's the whole journey. Normal guy supercar. Dan, I talk to him all the time. I bother him with all my Instagram DMs and asking him questions about the car, because I was prepared to do some DIYs, but I looked at his spreadsheet in the span of about 3 to 5 years, which I mentioned earlier before, that he spent about $20,000 on top of the cost of the car. So I think I won in terms of my cost, in terms of after I just bought the car and I didn't have to do any DIY at all. So I just basically hand it off to my mechanic, fix everything, and get it back. So I'm really comfortable, and I knew that everything was done professionally by a certified mechanic. I don't trust myself with this car, man. I know my way around mechanicals and cars and bikes, but I have no previous experience in working on Ferraris, you know, and whenever I'm in uncharted territory and fixing things, I always break stuff. And I just don't want to break anything with this car, because I know it's going to be expensive. So I think 16.5 and fixing everything else. Now I'm only focusing on the cosmetics, so I just need to fix that. So all right, so hopefully I know the video was way too long, but hopefully you guys learned a little something about my insight here, and how my car buying experience went, and hopefully it helps you in your decision making. And sometimes you just have to listen to your gut feeling more than your knowledge about what you should do. Because my mind told me, don't buy this car. Don't buy this car. Like, my mind told me that, like, off the bat, just no. You know, you want the most pristine car, you want the low miles pristine car. I'm so happy I bought this specific car and I fixed it, and I only spent 80 something thousand, so 66 at the 16.5. Yeah, so now let me know what do you guys think about this kind of format video. I mean, I'm trying to get myself more in the camera. I'm not sure if it's a good thing. I've been on the YouTube hobby for a while now, but I just don't like putting my face out there because of identity stuff, you know. But right now I just don't care, because this is the only way for me to talk to you guys while driving the car, you know. I mean, how else am I gonna do it with a GoPro in my head? It's not nice like that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video. Hopefully you guys liked it and learned something about it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.